Well, good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to our Nutrition and Health Zoom. This is the third one we've done so far, and so I'm glad that you guys are with us. We have a wonderful special guest with us, Miss Satara. Miss Satara is a fitness enthusiast. Man, when I go to the gym, I see her there like 10 times a day. So I know she is killing it. She's out squatting everybody there, outlifting everybody there. So she's going to have some good information for us today. But before we start with Mr. Tara, what we're going to do is go around and have anybody share something that you want us to know, like share a win, especially a non-scale victory. Basically what that is a victory that doesn't necessarily have to be about how much weight you lost, but something else that is related to weight loss that you want to share. So I'm going to open up the line. Anyone who wants to unmute themselves and share something that you want us to hear so that we can celebrate that win with you.
Don't be bashful.
Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
Well, it's not a win yet, but I'll share it because then I'll have to be held accountable because then next month I'll be like, did you really? I am nearly almost couple 3 pounds away from being out of the 200s. Yay, back to the 100s. And I haven't been there since like high school, college, like not even kidding. Even before we met. So I ain't been down there since like college, like last 20 years. So
hey, I'm getting that college.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm a couple pounds away. So by the time we by the time we next meet next time, for sure.
Awesome. That's what's up. Anybody else have a victory you want to share that we can celebrate with you?
I got one.
My brother Marshall.
Yeah, so I just want to say congratulations to you. What's your name, man?
Crystal. Yeah, it says 3H lifestyle. I'm looks like Crystal.
Okay, Miss Crystal. Yeah, so congratulations to that. My win, I dropped about 8 pounds since I started. Yeah, and and not only that, man, I just been feeling way better, and my growth. I just been feeling better, waking up better, and eating better, and just I can definitely see the difference outside of the weight drop. So
yeah.
Nice.
And my whole mindset, man, is just get better every day, and I'm enjoying the process.
Man, that's awesome, man. You're killing it, brother. I think this is your second week.
Yes,
I believe.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. You're doing amazing, man. It's funny. I asked him. I said, "Hey, how often do you work out?" He was like, "I work out 6 days a week." I'm like, "All right, cool. So how often do you do cardio?" Every time. Okay, man. You're killing it. Good job.
Yeah.
Good job. I want to share a non-scale
awesome.
victory from some people that weren't able to come on today. Vigila, she's one of my clients. She had something with her kid today, so she couldn't come on, but she wanted me to share this. She started the program about 3 months ago, maybe 2 months ago, and she lost about 10 pounds. And then she went on a cruise last week and she gained it all back. But then after the week that she went on the cruise, she came back, she refocused, and she dropped all of that weight today. So she texted me today.
Nice.
She's like, maybe she said, maybe you can ask the trainer, how is it that I lost 10 pounds within a week when it took me 2 months to do it? But she was just excited that she's able to now get back, refocus. Right off the vacation, she's just excited to be back to where she can be, starting to lose some weight. So she just wanted to share that with you guys. And my mom is also on the program with you. And today she said, I want to share this, that she actually had to put like safety pins in her pants because her pants are falling off. And so she's like, man, it's time for me to move to a different size. And so she wanted to share that with you. She's in the conference that we're here right now in Orlando, but she wanted you guys to know that. I'm opening up for one more person to share a victory. And then we'll turn it over to Miss Tara.
So I wanted to share one. Congratulations, Crystal. That's awesome. I'm coming for that one next. One, I wanted to say I started this week actually with Luke, and I will say that it was what I am down a couple pounds. That's for one, but my water weight is mostly it's going, and I can see that it's going because before I started, I told Luke, like I was retaining water in my feet. And
Mm.
since I started, that has not been happening at
Oh,
all.
wow.
I live
Oh,
on
wow.
the third floor in my apartment building, and there's no elevators, 4 floors, no elevator. And before I started, going up the flights of stairs was a challenge. Like I found myself very like out of breath and stuff like
Mm.
that. So for 2 nights now, Luke, I did the stairs, like I told you.
Mhm.
Today, when I was coming home from work, I came up the stairs and it felt like it was nothing. Like the challenge wasn't even there as it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
prior to starting this. So
That's
I'm like
amazing.
so happy about that.
Nice.
I'm happy for you, man. I'm happy for you. It's been a week for you. And yeah, we're just gonna keep getting better and better. I'm happy for you, Katie.
That's great.
Cool.
Congratulations to everyone with these wins. This is a great way to start a little seminar. That's awesome.
Yes, ma'am. Well, this is Satara. She is a personal trainer, a wellness coach. She does it all. I met her at my gym in Jacksonville here in Florida, and I've always seen her. I've seen her come in early in the morning. I see her coming later. I see her training other people, and I know there's just something about her that just kind of just like burst out towards me, which is like she's a person that loves to train. She's a person that loves to teach, and then come to find out she's actually a personal trainer. And so I asked her if she would be able to jump on the call to just share some of her knowledge with us. I sent out some of the questions that you asked me. I sent them to her, so she'll be addressing those as well. And if you have any other questions towards the end of the Zoom, feel free to ask them. But Mrs. Tara, take it away. It's all you.
Awesome. So thank you all for having me. I definitely appreciate you all setting out time in your busy schedule. Everybody has things going on, but to me, when you can make a decision to put your health and wellness first, that says a lot about your character. My pastor always says you can tell a lot about a person's ability to have self-control based on what they put in their mouth and how they treat their body, because we only have one. And so while we're going through this, I want you to think about that, because for me, fitness is a lifestyle, but it's really about your overall health and wellness. So that's mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. How you eat, how you work out affects you relationally, economically, financially. It all plays a part, because we know that when we feel better, we typically do better, we live better, we relate with people better, we communicate better, right? And so health and wellness it should be the main goal of our everyday life. And for everyone that looks different. So I just recently started another job at UF Health, a great opportunity. And one of my coworkers said to me today, she said, I just feel like being around you is going to help me to be better. And I'm not taking everything you're saying into account, but I am listening to you. And I said to her, something's better than nothing. And so her win today was, she was someone that typically doesn't drink a lot of water, like could not really get through more than 16.9 ounces a day. But today she brought in her 64-ounce bottle of water and was going based on the guidelines of time. And she was very proud that she was keeping up with, okay, it's almost 3 o'clock and I drank this amount of water. And so those are the small wins we need to be focused on, because again, everybody's journey is different. And so the question you did ask, Luke, I will address that at the end along with the other ones, because it is a major thing that most people don't understand, as far as when I'm losing weight, what is actually going on. But let me start by saying, I have my own organization, Satara J Fitness. It's a health and wellness corporation that I started last year. And my motto is, being fit is not about a size or destination. It's about having a committed discipline to a storied process and journey. And I believe the Lord gave me that because life is a marathon. It's not about getting to the specific wedding or vacation or my birthday's coming up. Fitness should be a lifestyle. And if you take it as that, it is a process that you will make many adjustments in life, whether, you get married and you begin to have kids, your fitness lifestyle is going to look different than if you were single with no kids and not married, right? If you get a new job, if you move, if you have an ailing parent, all of those things will play a factor in your fitness lifestyle. So the biggest thing I preach to my clients is you must learn to commit to the process and trust your journey, not someone else's journey, your journey. So it's not about looking at people on Instagram. We have social media now. So I have a lot of clients that will text me things and I'll say, that's not you. So I'm not going to base your workout program or can I look like this in 6 months? No, because that person has different parents and different genes. And so I try to get people to understand, you learn to commit to your process and trust your journey. And here's the thing, before we begin anything, you have to determine what your purpose is, what your process will be, and what your position will be at the end of the thing, right? So what is my final destination? Do I want to get off my high blood pressure meds? Do I want to kill high blood pressure in my generational bloodline? A lot of ailments that we have, it comes down from generation. And so you have to decide, I'm going to be the one that this thing stops with. I'm not getting diabetes. My kids are not getting diabetes. So what will be your position at the end of this thing? I am determined to never be on medication, and I want to live a long and strong life. I don't want to just be 98, but taking 16 different medications. I want to be 98. I want to be in the gym. I want to be loving life. I don't want to be old, decrepit, and bent over. I want to be healthy, eating right, and passing on what I've learned in those 98 years plus to the generations behind me. So the first thing is purpose. So what is your why? Your why has to extend beyond my birthday's in a couple months, because then after your birthday, you're just going to gain the 10 pounds right back. And if you really go crazy on your birthday, you're going to gain 10 plus 5 because you're going to eat cake, right? And you're going to, whatever you do to celebrate your birthday. So what is your why? It has to be strong enough to hold you during the process, meaning, why do you want to lose weight? Why do you want to be fit? Why do you want to be healthy? Why do you want to drop a few pant sizes? Why do you want to be smaller? So when the temptation comes to get you off track, your why is going to hold you firm in your purpose. Meaning, I tell my clients all the time, for example, you're 42 years old. You've had 42 Thanksgiving. You've eaten enough sweet potato pie, stuffing, and you won't miss Thanksgiving dinner this year. If it means pushing away your plate to get to your goal, trust me, you've had enough slices of sweet potato pie, enough macaroni and cheese to last you a lifetime. Prove to yourself that you can be committed in this thing and push away the plate come Easter. Push away, we got a lot of major holidays coming up, Memorial Day. Some of you may be getting ready to celebrate your birthday, barbecues in Jacksonville. I know these crab places in Jacksonville. I feel like every weekend somebody's going to, I'm going to the crab place, but they have high blood pressure and they're borderline diabetic. At some point, we have to have enough self-control and self-discipline to say, you know what? This year I'm doing things different. And my purpose this year is to stop drinking soda or stop eating candy, little by little. The next thing is the process. You have to have a plan. We know this, okay? The Bible says without plans, plans fail. First of all, when you don't have any counselors, but when you don't plan, you're going to plan to fail, right? If you don't have the purpose in mind and you don't have a plan, it's probably not going to go well for you. And so you have to have a plan, and you have to have a plan of how you will accomplish your goals. So what resources do you have? You all know Luke and his wife, they are a resource. Are you using your resources? Google is great, but Google, you got to remember, everything on Google doesn't apply to everybody. And these articles and these studies are broad and wide, and it may not be specific to you. And I don't know how many people in here know the Lord, but for me, I rely on the Holy Spirit to say, put that down, don't eat that, that's too much, step away from that. And the other thing is, I listen to my body. And so what happens is, when you don't know the process of cutting out things, you don't know when your body's telling you, okay, every time I eat those lemon pepper chicken wings, I get a headache within 5 to 10 minutes. Your body's telling you that it doesn't like lemon pepper chicken wings. And so instead of running for the, I don't know, Pepto-Bismol, the ibuprofen to shut your body off from telling you what it doesn't like, we need to pay attention to our body, because God created us in such a way that our systems will alert us when something's wrong. The problem is we have shut off our systems, right? So we have taught our systems how to take creams and pain meds and just not tell us when the ice cream and cake, Friday pizza night, every Friday with the family is maybe not the route to go, right? So what are your resources? What do you have? And then what do you need? And the thing about knowing what you need is what didn't work in the past. And so what do you need to do now in the present that is going to help you to be successful this time around? For example, with your eating, do you need to see a dietitian or nutrition? Here's one thing that I don't understand, but the Lord gives me grace. We will pay to increase our education. We will pay for vacations. We will pay for new cars, new houses. But when it comes to our health, we will not pay for the resources we need to get the education we need, to take care of the body that we need to be healthy, to get that next promotion, right? To be able to sustain the calling that God has placed on our lives. And so we've got to stop being so pocket stingy when it comes to our health and doing what we need to do to get those resources. The next thing is, all right, if you know you need an exercise plan, do you need a trainer? Do you need a certified personal trainer? Do you need a coach? When it comes to the evaluation process, because we need to know how to evaluate where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. So do you need a wellness coach? And then when it comes to enjoyment, what do those rewards look like, right? So, I have a client right now who's been with me since late summer last year, and she came to me around a size 16, and she's in a couple months dropped to a size 10. Well, I told her, don't start buying those new clothes yet. Wait till you get to the size you want to be, so that when you become the size 8, you don't have all these size 12 sitting in your closet, and it's easier to go back to the size 12, right? If you have no point of return, then you have no need to return, right? But if I'm a 16 and I know I want to be an 8, why would I keep 16s in my closet? That's tempting to just know that, well, I gained a few pounds. I still got my size 16s in my closet. No, size 16. So I'm getting rid of all of that, right? So that I don't have to return to where I don't want to be in the first place. The next thing and the final thing is position. So again, what is the end game? What is your final destination? And again, the position has to have purpose. It has to mean something to you. So that way, when the temptation comes, it's like anything else. When the enemy tempts us with, whether it be former relationships or tempts us to, speak in ways and do different things that we have said, I am turning away from that lifestyle. You have to have a plan. You have to be able to set boundaries. And we have to do the same thing in our health, right? So the boundary may be, I'm not going out and eating with my coworkers every Friday, because they always want to go to TGI Fridays, or places that I know if I go, I'm going to be tempted to eat the things that I know are contributing to my high blood pressure, my cholesterol, my COPD, my diabetes. And here's the thing about this. I just feel a reason to put this in. Borderline diabetes is basically, unfortunately, saying you are diabetic. And here's why. Diseases like diabetes in particular, it is a progressive disease, meaning it lays dormant until your body knows how to show the signs that you have it. So you don't want to play with things like that. When your doctor is saying you're borderline diabetic, it's a possibility that you're already there and your body just hasn't found a way to show the symptoms. Diabetes can lie dormant for years and then pop up on you. And that's why you see so many times it's like, man, they just got diagnosed with diabetes in January, and in July, they're already on dialysis because it had already been there, right? And so we know we reap what we sow. If you sow fast food and sugars and salts into your body, you're eventually going to reap the harvest of that. And what we know about reaping and sowing is my seed is small, but my harvest is great. That was from the Holy Ghost. My seed is small, but my harvest is great. So you think what you're doing now is small, but that harvest, when it comes home to roost in your body, it's going to be greater than you're thinking right now. So the potential dangers of what you're doing to your body right now, when that harvest is produced, that's not going to be something you're going to be pleased with. And I always say to my clients, you're either going to pay now for the resources, for the education, for the help, or you're going to pay later. But the paying later is the hospital bills, the doctor visits, and the medications. And though we don't want to come out our pocket for those things. So we might as well do the preventative care now. So when it comes to position, who do you want to be at the end of this thing? What is your desired outcome? And when will you know you have arrived? Right? When we put on our Siri or whoever you have, when you get to that destination, it says what? You have arrived. And if you have like Google Maps, it'll ask you, how was it getting there? It'll ask you, did you get there okay? How was it getting there? You need to have the same thing when it comes to your health and wellness, right? So consistency is key. It's not about what you do today, tomorrow, not even next week, not even next month, not even this time next year. Holler at me in 5 years, right? And that's typically the issue that most people face. They can do it for 90 days, but as soon as that temptation comes on day 91, man, they're back in that slump. You owe it to yourself to commit to this process and see what you can be at the end of this thing. So I'm closing out. I want to talk about these questions. If any of you have questions, you can feel free to jump in. But if there's one thing I want to leave you with, consistency is key. And of course, you want to reward yourself. But I always tell my clients, I'm one of those no nonsense trainers. I come from a sports background. So, I mean, you can just imagine I had a father who played professional sports. So in my household, it was, you're either doing it or you're not. And so when my clients say, well, I lost 2 pounds, can I reward myself? I say, well, are you where you want to be? No. So why even tempt yourself with a cookie? Because as soon as you taste that cookie, you're going to want another cookie tomorrow. And then you're going to come crying to me because you didn't gain the 2 pounds back. Just no. Until we get to where you said you wanted to be. Reward you for what? You don't get a promotion on your job because you clock in at the time you're supposed to be there every day. That wouldn't make sense if they started rewarding you. You're supposed to be there at 8 o'clock. Better yet, 7:55. Do you want a cookie every time you clock in early? So you're not going to get a cookie because you did your cardio this week. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Let's get to the end of this thing when you drop a whole 10 pant sizes. Now you can get a cookie. And you can go swipe that card and get yourself in the wardrobe. To me, that's more rewarding than just, can I have a cheat day? I'm like, cheating for what? You've been cheating your whole life. No, I'm here because you need to stop cheating. These little rewards, and I know I may be sounded, I understand I'm not for everybody and it's okay, but that's the way I look at things. You can't, here's what I tell my clients. Right? They know I'm a believer. Most of my clients believe, and those who don't, it's fine. I share this with them. If the devil was after your marriage, you would fast and pray. If the devil was after your finances, you would fast and pray. If the devil was after your children, you would get on your face and you would fast and pray. The devil is after your life when it comes to your health and wellness. If he can control what you put in your mouth and kill you slowly, I like to call it a slow drip. He's killing you softly because the measure of a man is his ability to control what goes in his mouth. So if he can kill you softly with that, why are we not fasting and praying? I had a client have a major breakthrough a couple months ago. She's been with me for 3 years. And finally, the seed that was sown, she finally said, I asked the Lord to take the desire away from me. And for like 2, 3, 4 months now, she completely changed her eating and she's finally seeing those inches come off because she went before the Lord and she made a commitment to him to say, I can't do this. So I don't know what that looks like for you, but get to that place where you can really surrender your desire for things. You may need therapy. I have a couple clients that realized they needed to go see a therapist because their relationship with food was dysfunctional. And we have to be able to admit, hey, I need some help. Because for me, when I stress out, I eat. When I get a win, I eat. I'm not saying for me, I'm saying for the people who realize I have an unhealthy relationship with food. And if you had an unhealthy relationship with your spouse, you would hopefully go to marriage counseling. So if you have an unhealthy relationship with food, you need to go see a therapist or a counselor, a nutrition dietitian, get a wellness coach that can hold your hand and walk you through this and hold you accountable. I'm getting long-winded. Let me hit these questions. Weight loss in the stomach area. Everybody loves this. So here's the thing about weight loss in the stomach area. There's no way to pinpoint that, right? Because everybody's body is different. The way to promote weight loss in any area is what you put in your mouth. If you're eating fatty foods, high salt, high sugar, if you're dehydrated, if you're skipping meals, right? I tell my clients not eating is just as worse as eating the wrong thing, because your body thinks it's starving itself and it goes into this mode where it's going to hold on to fat, because we all need a certain amount of fat to survive. So there is no specific way to target your stomach area, right? Because depending on your size, and we'll get into this later, we have endomorph, ectomorph, mesomorph. Your body deposits may shift in different places, right? So some people get it in the arms, some people get it on their back. And so again, that is food and portion control, right? And if anyone has specific ailments or something, that can play a part as well. So it really just depends on where you're at physically, and if you have any ailments. If you're on medication, all right, that could be affecting the fatty deposits that are trapped in your stomach. But to answer the question directly, there is no one real way to target weight loss in the stomach. And the proof of that was back last year, and I shared this with Luke, I went on a plant-based diet in October. And I have not eaten meat in over 20 years. I've always been small. I did not think there was any room for me to lose anything else, but I went on a plant-based diet, which cleaned out my system, and I lost 1.5 inches in my waist. God knows I didn't need to lose nothing else. I did not do it on purpose. I was just doing it to be able to show and share with people, you know, how changes can make a difference. And I wanted to see in my own body if I can get rid of some inflammation and if it changed my energy. And I have recently went back to plant-based, and my body has done the same thing it did before. So again, I was consistent in the process, and my body began to kind of cut itself up in the way that it does, right? Because in all actuality, our systems, we're not in there, so we don't know what's going on and how it breaks down. So there really is no scientific method to this thing. I sought the Lord on what I need to do about my diet, and the rest kind of went that way. An effective workout routine, as far as I think it was frequency and burning fat and getting lean, right? So when burning fat, when it comes to cardio, burning fat as the primary fuel source, you got to get to your target heart rate. All right. So you got to get to a fat burning heart rate. It needs to be somewhere between 60 and 70%, maybe 75% of your max heart rate. How do you get your max heart rate? You take 220 minus your age, right? That is your max heart rate. And so if you want to stay in a fat burning zone when you're working out, you got to stay between 60 and 70% of that max heart rate. Now, obviously, the higher up you are, the more fat you're going to burn, right? Because your body will then begin to burn the fat as its primary fuel source. The reason why, most people don't see this on a consistent basis is they don't keep their heart rate up there, right? Because when it gets hard, we want to quit. And that's the issue, right? When your heart rate, I have a lot of clients say, oh, my heart's beating so fast, I need to slow down. No. We're going to stay right there, because that's the secret. That's the sweet spot. So if you can get your heart rate up there to 60, 70%, and keep it up there, meaning I'm not sitting on a machine and on social media while I'm working out. Now your heart rate's down, now you got to get it back up. Now heart rate's down, you got to get it back up. All right. So for example, when you see certain athletes, marathon runners, especially, extreme weightlifters, boxers, they're super lean, right? Because think about how they train. They're nonstop. They're always going. Their heart rate is always up. So their body is consistently burning fat as their primary fuel source. Okay, foods and supplements to jumpstart your metabolism. I do not really believe in supplements, so I can't really say what can. I believe that if you eat right, that restarts your metabolism, right? For years, people have said to me, I don't see how you're so small and you eat so much, because I eat so much. So my metabolism is never lying dormant. It's always on. And the way that I make it make sense is, hopefully you'll get this explanation, but you know, when in a lawn care business, most lawn care people have these machines, and you've seen these huge machines where if you put in sticks and branches and large tree limbs in one end, it shoots off mulch in the other end, right? If you, hopefully you guys have seen that. If not, you can gain the concept. When the machine turns on, right? So as soon as that lawn care person turns that machine on, it's on. We hear it, it's running. As soon as they put those branches in, what happened? Mulch shoots out on the other end. The debris shoots out on the other end. Your body is a machine. If it's on, you have to fuel it, which is why I say not eating is just as bad as eating the wrong thing. Your body is on. It's got to burn something. And if it doesn't have anything to burn, then my metabolism is just like that. Hopefully that makes sense. Flattening the stomach area, someone asked, after a C-section. So the thing about this is there is a thing called diastasis recti. So you have got to go to your primary care and find out if you, and this is when the abdominal muscles separate after childbirth, or in a cesarean, if they cut into your rectus abdominis wall, right? And those muscles did not come back together and heal properly. If you have diastasis recti, which I've had several clients who have had it, my sister has it, I've been dealing with this with her for years. And the thing we found out, right? You're going to say, you're going to be, oh my gosh, is this the answer to everything? Yes, it's the answer to everything. But what we found out is her diastasis recti, even though she has it, I mean, she always going to have this little bulge because in her cesarean, they cut too deep, right? And her muscles came out and they never went back in. But she has less of a bulge when she's eating correctly than she does when she's not eating correctly, right? And with diastasis recti, the reason why I'm encouraging you to go to your physician is because there are certain ab exercises that they recommend you don't do. For example, sit-ups, because the motion of a sit-up pushes your stomach out when you're coming up. So if you have diastasis recti from a cesarean section, it's going to force those muscles out. You want them to come in. For those ladies who may be like 2 years and under for childbirth, you do have an option of banding and wrapping. You're still within that window. It's like an old, I think it's like an old African and Haitian process that they used to do, where it'll kind of bind those muscles back together. It's painful and it's tight, but if you're within that window, you still may be able to take advantage of that. But from what I've seen in most of my clients, pre-pregnancy, during, and post, how they ate plays a role. And we're going to hit that question that Luke asked in the beginning, because food has a lot to do with how can I, have 10 pounds and then lose it in a week. Toning for endomorph, certain body types, right? So you got to know if you're an endomorph, mesomorph, and ectomorph. Before endomorphs, typically strength training and cardio, HIIT style type training, that's going to be your best training style. If you don't know what that is, fine. Get a resource. YouTube videos don't work for everybody. Following that person on Instagram, because here's the truth. Here's the honest truth. People are cutting and attaching and adding everything nowadays. I just found out a guy I know just got his stomach done. Got his stomach done. You don't know what that person's transformation is real. So you're trying to follow them and it's not working for you and you're frustrated because you need a certified health professional that you can touch and go to and see and say, this is me. How do I go from here to what I want to look like? Hopefully that makes sense. Let me see, because there was a question on my phone. The question about the 10 pounds. I love addressing these things. When people come to me and they say, I want to lose weight, right? That's mostly everyone's health and wellness and fitness goal. I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. I always say to them, what weight do you want to lose? Well, what do you mean? I want to lose weight. There's fat, there's water, and there's muscle. What weight do you want to lose? And here's the thing. Most people don't know. And they don't know what they're losing when they lose weight, because getting on a scale is not telling you what you've lost. And most people are not losing fat because you have to be eating a certain way and training a certain way to burn body fat. All right. It's intense. So here's the thing. If you're losing muscle, you're in trouble, right? When you see a bodybuilder versus an overweight person, the physical part we see the most is this person's heavy set. This person's really fit and toned. Why? Because muscle is the tone part that we see, the fit part that we see, while the overweightness is the fat. So the difference is this person is burning their fat while this person doesn't have enough muscle to override the fat. Hopefully that makes sense. And so what I always recommend is, and there are very few places that have them, so you may have to invest in a scale that will tell you what your body fat is, what your BMI is, and if you are in, and if you're, it'll show you what your water weight is. Because to that person who lost 10 pounds, more than likely, you lost water weight, right? Or you may have had bloating beforehand from something you ate, or if you have a diet that's high in sodium, that causes us to bloat. Sodium also causes inflation, right? And did I say it right? Yes,
Inflammation.
you'll be inflamed, right? You'll have inflammation. I said inflation. Lord have mercy. Inflammation in your body.
Gotcha.
You can be inflamed and it could cause the scale to go up a pound or two because you're inflamed by something you've been eating, or you may have hurt yourself, whatever the case may be. So there's so many factors that go into what your weight is doing. And if you don't have the scale or the right tools to show you, oh, my body fat's going down, my water weight's going down, but my muscle is increasing, because that is the perfect scenario, right? And then might be TMI, but I gotta tell you, because I've had a lot of clients that have had this. Okay. If you're not regular, it could be waste that's just sitting there, right? And most people have waste that's sitting there. And here's why. Because our systems were made to release waste every time we eat. Think about the machine I told you about. If something's going in, something's got to come out. So if you're a person that's not regular, if you're not going after every meal, you're holding on to food waste. And I had the girls in my office the other day like, ew. I said, y'all are just rotting sepsis tanks. You're just rotting with old food in you. And we don't think of it that way, but a lot of times we're carrying the burger we had a couple of days ago because we didn't release it yet, right? And so over time, when you have a diet that's high in saturated fat, high in heavy oils, high in sodium, you're carrying around waste, right? And so again, got to get on some detoxes. We got to clean those systems out. And once you clean those systems out, you can't put the trash back in, right? It would be so silly for you to fill up your trash bin, take it out to the corner, and when the trash people come, you say, wait, no, I want my trash back. How would you bring your trash back in your house? It makes no sense. But that's what some of us do. I'm gonna go on the cleanse, I'm a diet for 3 days, and then you go back to eating the same crap. I mean, I don't get it, but if you're stuck in that process, that may be why you're stuck, because you haven't evolved to doing things differently, right? The old adage is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is insanity. So we've got to apply that to the way we're eating, the way we're working out, the way we're taking care of ourselves mentally, physically, and emotionally. I've totally gone over time, but I think I answered every question except, hold on, there was one on my phone. I want to know what's the maximum amount of time one should spend in the gym per session. This is a good question. There is no maximum amount of time. Do what works for you. Be realistic, because this is what happens. We set unrealistic expectations and we don't go at all. And so we don't accomplish anything. If 5 days a week for an hour does not work for you, stop setting that goal. Start with 15 minutes, start with 30 minutes, 3 times a week. And then as your body begins to enjoy it, your schedule opens up, it changes, you can commit to more time, or you don't. Do what works for you and do what's realistic, right? If you're just starting, an hour may be too long for you. You may not even know what to do in an hour. Start with 30 minutes, right? And go from there. So my answer to that, and it may not be the answer you want, and I'm sorry, but my answer to that is the maximum amount of time you should spend in the gym is what works for you. Be realistic. When you're realistic, your plan will work. It's these unrealistic expectations. It's the beginning of the year. I'm gonna go to the gym 5 days a week and it's March and you have not been yet because your expectation was unrealistic. Stop doing that to yourself. If you can only go on the weekends, go on the weekends. If you can go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And as your body begins to love it more, you begin to see the results, you're gonna go more because you're gonna like what you see. So the key there is be realistic. Don't set expectations based on other people and what they're doing because everybody's life is different. And remember, you got to commit to the process and trust your journey. I'm closing there because I've gone over time and I do want to let anyone ask any questions.
Thank you so much, Satira. Is there anybody that has any questions? I said to drop it in the chat. Any extra questions? I believe she answered all the questions that that I sent her earlier. But if you have one that just popped up in your mind, feel free to drop it in the chat. I see Sam said that definitely answers her question.
Hey, Mr.
Go off mute. Yeah, go ahead, Marvin.
My bad. Hey, Mr. Terry, I was asking a question. So I'm new to this. I just want to know, like, what is water weight and what's that about? I know you kind of touched on it, but I kind of want to know, like, directly, like, what is water weight and stuff like that, and the difference kind of between it and mass weight and a little bit.
Okay, so it's kind of a broad thing, right? And it really just depends on like how much you stay hydrated, right? So our body is comprised of a certain amount of water, right? And we need a certain amount of water in our daily activity. So water weight is typically what your body did not absorb or need to use to hydrate your organs or to hydrate your skin, right? Your major organs and systems in your body. So it's really extra water is really what is released when we urinate, to be completely plain, right? And water weight is also what the foods in our system does not absorb. So for example, if you tend to have a higher diet and like sodium and stuff like that, your body is constantly soaking up the water, right? Because the salt is going to dry out the water in your body. And again, so that can be causing inflammation, which can then be causing the number on the scale to be up. So when it comes to mass, muscle weighs more than fat. And so that's why I always tell people, you really want to pay more attention to the inches and your clothes than you do to the number on the scale, because you may be focused on 180, but you may end up at 188 because muscle weighs more than fat because it's more dense, right? It's leaner, but it takes up less space because it's more compact. And so again, having a scale or getting to a place or a gym, I used to be a trainer over at the YMCA, and they have those resources, an actual scale. It's a biometric screening scale where it will break down those different numbers exactly as it is in your body, right? So it'll tell you your total body water, it'll tell you your BMI, your body fat, and then it also gives you your cadence, which is basically how many calories you need to intake to sustain your current body composition, right? So I always tell people, if you're trying to gain muscle and it tells you you need 1,893 calories, because it is that exact, to keep your current weight, then you're gonna have to increase your calories. But if you're trying to lose, and it's saying to stay where you're at, you need 1,893 calories, then you need to eat under that, right? So that's the only real way of knowing your real body composition. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
And Katie asked the question in the chat. She said, what exercise can we do to avoid loose skin?
So, let me close this out. So you have to be careful that you're not doing too much cardio, right? And I know that kind of goes against what we've heard, but think of it this way. The only way your body is going to turn to combat the fat and build the muscle, in the example I used earlier, when you have someone who's overweight and heavy and you see their fat versus someone who's like a bodybuilder and you just see their muscle, that's because they're using strength training to pretty much zap the fat into allow the muscle to come out and show on our body, right, with what we see. And so when it comes to loose skin, the reason why the skin detaches like that is because it doesn't have enough muscle to hold on to, right? So if I'm constantly tearing that down and not building up the muscle, right, then the skin's going to detach itself because it has nothing to kind of suction it, so to speak. And that typically happens when you're doing too much cardio and you're not doing enough strength training. And I know for women, you know, we have this old adage, oh, I don't want to lift weights because I don't want to be bulky. It's not even in our makeup and our hormones to be manly. It's not in our, we don't have enough testosterone unless you're taking steroids and unless you're on testosterone. That's the only way you're going to get bulky like a man, right? Because a man is a man for a reason, because he has more testosterone. So if you're a woman and you're lifting weights the right way, you're going to tone that skin and it's not really toning the skin. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. As my muscle expands, it fills up that gap, right? And the skin attaches to that, right? So there's no, like, think of a suction cup, right? When I release that suction cup, whatever it was holding on kind of releases in that manner. So that's why it's important to make sure you're strength training and not doing just cardio only. Because once that skin gets loose, the only way to get rid of it is to get it surgically removed.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Hopefully that answers Katie's question.
I believe so. And for the ladies that
so much.
You're welcome.
For those who the ladies who just started with me, I do the weightlifting program too. I'll send that out if that's something you're interested in. And also you can definitely check out Mrs. Tara if that's something that you're interested in also. It's 7:50. If no one else has any questions, I'm gonna let Mr. Tara tell you where to find her, what her social is, and how to get in contact with her if you want to reach out, and then we'll close out afterwards.
Yes, so I just put my email address in the chat. You can reach me via email if you have any questions, want to have a consultation, or you're interested in hearing about health and wellness coaching. I'm on a social media fast right now, so I'm not on social media, but you can definitely contact me via that email. And, you know, for anyone who really wants to talk with me, I'll let Luke kind of let me know who may want to reach out to me via phone. But other than that, you can use the email and contact me there if you need any services or resources or support or accountability, or you need to be pointed in the right direction as far as dietitian or nutritionist or something of that nature.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Tara. Thank you, man. You gave us a wealth of knowledge today. I'm sure everybody on the call is definitely appreciative. That's it for today. God bless you guys. God bless you. God bless you. Continue doing your thing. Tomorrow is our weigh-in, so I'll be sending out those forms tonight or tomorrow morning. We're going to do our check-ins tomorrow just to see how we've done to celebrate our progress. But other than that, I pray that you have a wonderful night. Thank you, everybody. God bless.
You guys have a great night. Take care.
Good night.
Good night.